jostling, and the tensions do seem to have increased somewhat in the last half an hour or so. I'm near the Best Western Hotel in Peckham in southeast London, where protesters have surrounded a coach early this morning when it was due to collect asylum seekers to transport them to the Bibby Stockholm barge in Doorstep. They stopped it from leaving the hotel. When I arrived around mid-morning, there are about 100 protesters here, and the numbers have been growing steadily throughout the day, with the police presence also steadily increasing. Now, many of those demonstrators didn't want to speak to me, but the head of a charity, the Lewisham Donation Hub, told me that two of the asylum seekers who were due to be transferred to the Bibby Stockholm were volunteers at the charity and an integral part of the community here in Peckham. He also said the crowd would be willing to disperse if they got confirmation that the coach would not be transferring people today. This is what he had to say to me.
So we're not directly a part of this protest. We're actually here because two of our volunteers are due to be transferred to the Bibby Stockholm today. We've, over the course of the last week, made various submissions to the Home Office alongside mental health professionals, GPs, churches, schools, colleges, all of which has been declined. To lose our volunteers from our service would be an enormous impact for what we do. We help 26,000 people a year, and we rely on asylum seekers to deliver that service to all facing hardship. They've been some of the very first volunteers we had. We have about 30 volunteers on site at any one time. Without them, we simply couldn't do what we do, but we are, as far as we know, London's only multi-bank. They help us to repair computers, share food, share kitchenware, bedding, clothing, bicycles, everything for those facing the most acute hardship. They help us to deliver it. We are absolutely here to support them. They are personally, of all the people that the Home Office could have chosen, they couldn't have chosen two more wonderful people that I feel more personally connected to. They genuinely feel like brothers. They have been through an enormous amount. Their mental trauma, their experiences in life, their age, everything that they've gone through means that they should not be going here. Most people look at me today and think I'm either undercover police or from the BBC. I wasn't actually supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be delivering service right now. So I don't know the makeup of this, but it is an amazing turnout, and people are very, very frustrated about what's happened here. I spoke to the superintendent of this police force, whoever it is, about 2.5 hours ago when they said, what will it take for us to disperse this crowd? And I said, if you can't get a Home Office presence here, you need to send some confirmation to the people that are affected to say that this dispersal coach will not transfer. They have not done that. They came through heavy-handed, and I don't understand why they've done this. It degrades trust in the police. It's totally unnecessary, totally avoidable. And I'll be following this up separately because we've worked closely with the police for 4 years. This is not how to do policing. This could have been avoided. The whole spectrum of people, I've been speaking to many, and quite a few of them have offered to volunteer with us. But you are seeing a broad spectrum of society that just does not agree with what is going on here, and with just the mistreatment, not only of asylum seekers, but everybody facing hardship. We can do much better than this. We need to start seeing people for who they are, not just as a number. And one thing to keep in mind, we are vilifying those coming across on boats. There are about 25,000 last year. We had 700,000 people come to the UK. If the government wants to tackle migration, don't punish those who need our help the most. Being transported to the Bibby Stockholm, but that is, as recognised by members of Parliament, by the Inquest charity, it is recognised as an unsuitable place for people that have been incarcerated, that are fearful of police, that have been tortured, and that's exactly who they're sending there. I think it's perhaps interesting that the people they're sending don't seem to have any legal representation, and I think it's also interesting that, from what I understand, the Home Office in Wembley last night told people they're going to a 5-star accommodation and that they would get status within 2 months. and those people are now down there. They had no awareness. Thanks to this community, these people do have awareness.
Now, the coach is about 50 metres or so away from the hotel. Many of the demonstrators are wearing masks, were initially blocking the entrance to the coach. They had formed a circle around it by sitting down, with more of them gathering at the front. Some of the tyres of the coach have been slashed, and rental bikes have been wedged underneath the coach at both the front and the back. As you can hear, there's been drumming and chanting, and that's been going on intermittently throughout the day, with the occasional trumpet joining in. The crowd shouting, "No detentions, no flights, refugees have human rights," as well as "No borders, no nation, stop deportations." There has been a significant police presence for much of the day. Just before 1 p.m, around 20 officers arrived on the scene to move protesters away from the coach. That's when activists then linked arms and formed a human chain around the vehicle and sat down around it. Now, shortly afterwards, 30 or so more officers arrived, and that's when a bit of jostling took place with the protesters, and I understand a number of arrests were made. The police have made a statement. Metropolitan Police Deputy Assistant Commissioner Ade Adikalan said in a social media post, "My officers were quickly on the scene and have engaged with the protesters at length. They have warned the group that they could be arrested." The Home Office has also issued a statement. A spokesperson described the protesters' behaviour as intimidatory and aggressive, and they said, "As part of our commitment to significantly reducing the use of hotels, asylum seekers are being moved into alternative accommodation to reduce costs on the taxpayer. Accommodation is allocated to asylum seekers on a no-choice basis." The spokesman went on to say, asylum seekers can make representations if they believe they are unsuitable to be moved to the Bibby Stockholm. These are considered in full before any decision is made. Meanwhile, this protest is ongoing. The coach is empty, and it's understood that the asylum seekers who are due to be transported are still waiting in the hotel with Home Office staff. Okay, the police have started to make a number of more arrests now, pulling protesters out from in front of the coach and carrying them away. It looks like the coach has made a move and seems to be trying to pull away. It's hard to see from here, but it is getting more rowdy with more jostling, and the tensions do seem to have increased somewhat in the last half an hour or so.
Say it loud, say it clear! Film that! Film that! Film that!
So that coach that was due to transport around 8 or so asylum seekers to the Bibby Stockholm in Dorset has left. It looked empty from where I was standing, but there is still a significant police presence with a number of protesters sitting down and refusing to leave. They are blocking the traffic. They're in the middle of the road, and as well as blocking the road, there are protesters milling around all around the centre of Peckham.
Welcome here!